Welcome to Food and Loathing, once again coming to you on location from one of Las Vegas's most exciting restaurants. In this case, it's Town Square's high-end modern Indian spot, Tamba. And we are sitting here in the private dining room. It's looking beautiful. We're having a good time, but more on that later. First, I'll tell you who we are if you're just tuning in by accident. Look, we're a gonzo dining podcast taking a deep dive into the most decadent dining scene in the world and looking back on the one-of-a-kind experiences that make this desert community unique. Think Fear and Loathing, but instead of LSD, ether, and mescaline, we are tripping hard on foie gras, truffles, and perhaps the occasional deep-fried Twinkie.
And don't forget, this is the weekend of the Mint 500. Mint 400.
Mint 400, man. This is like a spiritual weekend for us here, man. And if you don't know why, just go read your Hunter S. Thompson.
Yes.
My name is Al Mancini. I'm a former New York attorney who ditched a career interviewing eccentric rock and pop stars nearly 15 years ago in order to interview chefs who are perhaps not as colorful as those rock stars, and I am not as colorful as Hunter S. Thompson, but, you know, this is enough to leave me just slightly off-center from hanging out with all these people. My partner in crime most weeks is Las Vegas food writer Samantha Gemini Stevens. She's traveling this week, so you're going to have to wait until next week to hear her lovely voice, but we love you, Gemini.
Yes.
We do have, in person, the man who makes sure you can eavesdrop on our weekly chats, our amazing engineer, Mr. Rich Johnson. Rich, how are you, man?
I am just more than wonderful, and for all your craziness, I balance it out by being way too ordinary.
My craziness is mostly in my past, and, you know, the more senile I get, the more I'm going to forget it all. So then I'm probably going to think I'm conservative by the end of the line.
These kids today wearing their long hair protesting the war. No, wait a minute.
Well, yeah.
Those are the grandparents of today.
As I mentioned, we're coming to you this episode from Tamba in Town Square. I described a recent meal here on one of our episodes a couple weeks ago. The food here is so unlike anything else I've had in Las Vegas, I thought it deserved a deeper dive. Rich, this your first time in here?
Very much so, and I am looking forward to whatever comes out a little later.
Yeah, then it's beautiful. I should have given you a tour of some of the other dining rooms and stuff. It's a great place.
Plush comes to mind immediately. This could be mistaken for a classic steakhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm noticing all the fine sake in the wine refrigerator here in the PDR. So, yeah, I'm like, you could think you're in a French restaurant. You could think you're in a Japanese restaurant.
Oh,
you could think you're in all kinds of things looking at that wine fridge. Okay, so look, we're going to be joined in just a few moments by this restaurant's general manager, Oliver Morowati. We're also told Chef Anand, this is the good part, Rich, you're going to like this. Ooh. I'm told that Chef Anand will be sending out some new dishes for us to try. So we'll let you know as soon as those arrive on our giant table. Is there enough room to put the shit down on this table?
This is not chicken tikka masala coming today, right?
No, I don't think so. But look, before we get into all that, we like to start every show with a little restaurant roundtable running down the places we've been dining. So, Rich, man, you want to kick us off today since Gemini's not around?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff this week. I'll tell you much more about the opening of the new Broken Yolk on West Sahara in the news, but I'll share here that for my first meal there wasn't breakfast. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was at noon, so I opted for the Old Reliable, which is the name on the menu of their cheeseburger.
Okay.
Lettuce, mayo, thick slice of tomato, maybe even a little too thick of tomato because it kind of slid off. What you don't like, a hockey puck style burger.
I mean, it's just not my favorite formation of burger.
But it's the kind of thing you have to do in a diner setting for speed.
Yeah, in a diner you got the hockey puck.
But it was
that's
good.
kind of the norm, unless it's a smash burger.
Yeah, it was
not
good.
Going to get no steak burger in a diner.
No. It was good meat, and it was flame broiled, and I got that flame broil all the way through the burger. So that was darn nice. And then this morning as we record, I swung by for for breakfast. And my usual bedrock that they're tired of hearing about, bacon and eggs over medium, toast and hash browns, and it was great.
You are nothing if not a creature of habit, my friend.
Yeah, and it was right there. I always ask the server, bacon or sausage? Bacon or sausage? Sometimes they say sausage. This time the woman who served me said bacon, and it was good. The main thing about diner bacon has it been sitting there in a pile for hours that they made up at 4 or 5 in the morning and then pulled them out? No, this was, if not cooked order, it was pretty close because it was moist and still, leaking of
So this is
bacon
your
fat.
criteria that
Yeah,
the bacon just be cooked within an hour or two of you
Yeah,
eating
yeah,
it.
and that
you
is-
don't have really high standards there,
that
right?
is- but
You have low demands, but if
Yeah.
they don't meet them, you're not happy in a diner.
And let me tell you, it is a crapshoot. More often than not, it is the bacon that was cooked in the dead of night and then served for breakfast.
Okay.
Anyway, more on Broken Yolk later.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about it.
Scouting the location of Broken Yolk there at Sahara and Fort Apache.
Oh, yeah.
I found Burgundy Bakery Café and Bistro.
We love Burgundy Bakery Café and Bistro. They're on Neon Feast. They're on there under one of the best casual French restaurants. They may be on there under pastries because their pastries are fucking fantastic in there. And we've interviewed the chef in the past. Go Google that and you'll find it in one of our old interviews.
It was breakfast time, so I got a nice big ham and cheese omelet cooked in the French manner with that nice little bit of char on the outside. It came with a beautiful salad dressed in a Dijon vinaigrette. My only complaint was the ham and cheese was mostly ham and ham. Could have used a little more of that nice, what I believe was Gruyere that I eventually located. Also, very good cheese Danish on that premises.
Yeah.
Made on premises, which is kind of the point of having a bakery.
Yeah, it's great. And the pace, I mean, the chef over there, he's a world-class chef.
Yeah.
He's been in fine dining restaurants. I'm singeing on his name because I didn't prep for where you had eaten this week.
Yeah.
But a really fantastic guy. I was brought over there by a fine dining friend of mine who's like, you've got to come in here with me. And we loved it.
You'll be proud of me that I was pretty minimal on the junk food this week. I had a fast food, though. A nice chicken and veg bowl at Hummus Bowls and Wraps in Boca Park.
That's the kind of fast food you need to eat more of, Rich.
Yeah, a nice little small chain. It's been there for 7 years. Also locations in Henderson and on South Rainbow. It's kind of a format familiar to Chipotle. You stand in line, you pick your meat, you pick your style, which for me was hum style, hummus, spinach, tomato, cucumber, pickled onion. Top with tzatziki. I also opted for a little red pepper sauce. I got it in a bowl, but you could also do a wrap. Very bright, nice and fresh. The pepper sauce had a nice little pop, balanced by the cool of the tzatziki. Like everything these days, prices ain't what they used to be. The bowl was $15, but it was good value.
I mean,
Great,
it's really
fresh
hard
stuff.
to comment on prices anymore,
Yeah, I
isn't
know.
it, man?
Yeah, it
Like,
really is.
you don't know how with it people are.
Yeah,
I
I'll
don't
get to
know.
price in something else. In the neighborhood, I followed your lead about hitting a convenient local pizza place just for a couple of slices. In this case, it's Red Rock Pizza, which is also at Fort Apache Rampart. It turns into Rampart.
So it's not
by
in the
then,
Red Rock
and Lake
Resort.
Mead.
This is
no.
just called Red Rock.
Yeah, it's in that same complex that gives us. I've lost the thing.
You don't even know where it is.
No, I misspelled the thing. Nataya's Secret Kitchen for Thai,
Nataya's, yes, we
Aromi Oolala French Bistro, the upscale pet food store that supplies most of my cat BG's treats. Sausage and pineapple slices, solid, hit the spot. I'm sure I'll be back. I have been back, but I'm not about to give up Pop-Up or Evil Pie or Pizza Rock.
No, never give any of them up. But I got to backtrack you here for a second. This is the man who every week we ask you to tell us where you've been dining. It's always a fast food spot. It's some fried chicken, fucking, whatever. And but you buy gourmet food for your cat.
Yeah.
Is that what I just heard?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No
Good to know
grains.
where the priorities are.
Yeah. Speaking of Nataya's, I didn't go to Nataya's, but I went across Rampart to a Thai place that has changed hands since I was last there. That was about 5 years ago when I moved into the neighborhood because that joint was awful.
Boo.
This one is great. Baan Bann Thai House, northwest corner of Rampart and Lake Mead. Nice pad Thai lunch special. Noodles were well covered in a tamarind sauce. Came with the peanuts and the bean sprouts beside it, so you mix it all up yourself rather than having them all limp and awful if they've been done in the kitchen. Who knows how long ago. The special comes with a spring roll, which was fine, and tom yum soup. Soup of the day, this was tom yum. Sometimes you get soup and it boasts some meat or veg and there's hardly anything there. Like one or two
it's
pieces.
just all broth.
This was the reverse. Small cup of tom yum jammed with carrots and onions and more, kind of at the expense of the broth. The broth was really nice, sweet, and then morphed into the sour, and I just wanted a little more. But I'll be back there. One more thing, a little sushi happy hour at Kusa Nori. the Japanese place inside Resorts
It's
World.
a nice restaurant. It's a little bit of
Very
everything.
pretty.
They got
Yeah.
teppanyaki in there. They've got sushi in there. They've got, just
Yeah.
regular izakaya food in there.
I was a little frightened of the prices. I thought if I'm going to spend that much for dinner, I might as well go to Nobu. But the happy hour, very reasonable. Couple of hand rolls. One's called the RWLV, just a small open California roll. Definitely done with the good stuff, though. And a Robataki trio, quickly grilled chicken, beef, and pork belly on skewers, all excellent. Had a specialty cocktail known as the Honeydew List, anchored by Ciroc Honey Melon Vodka. Definitely a summer drink. Now, when I say reasonable prices at happy hour, let's remember I'm in Resorts World.
Hey, you're on the strip, man, and
Yeah.
it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap in small towns right now.
Yeah,
So,
so 2 cocktails, 2 hand rolls, 1 order of the Robataki trio, $80, throw on a $20 tip, and there's a hundy for happy hour.
Yeah, but 2 cocktails. I mean,
Yeah.
on the strip
Oh,
in
yeah.
a fine dining restaurant.
Yeah, very fine.
Enough food to, kind of tide you over at least, right?
So, yeah.
You didn't feel like you had to go home and get like a pizza or anything, did
No,
you?
no.
good.
Thus concludes my, McDonald's free week.
Oh man, I'm proud of you this week. That's good. We should encourage you more instead of mocking you.
Of course.
Okay, I'll wrap up
Yeah.
this portion of the show, but I got a lot to get to before we chat with our host. There's a new Lazy Dog in our valley. It's on Stephanie Street near Sunset. They held a little media dinner last week, which Sue and I attended. I got some beer out in my car for you from that,
yeah.
Rich. Here's my take on Lazy Dog. Lazy Dog is like one of those family chains, right? Like family-friendly
yeah.
chains. There's a million of them in the world. I don't go to very many of them very often. It's not what I like. I find Lazy Dogs to be a notch above the
Yeah.
standard one. Food's a little more creative. Food's a little better, a little higher quality. But it's still not. It's not. I mean, I don't go to
but
family restaurants.
You bring the family and all that, and it's a step above it. You know what it reminds me of, and this is. We try to keep politics out of this stuff.
Yeah, let's keep the politics out, man. There's enough places people can hear it.
It reminds me of a nice little joint on Connecticut Avenue in Northwest Washington, D.C. called Comet Ping Pong, which is a family place for the neighborhood, pizza, wings, and all that.
And no sex trafficking in the basement?
That's because there is no basement in the building.
There you go. Okay.
That's where the moron from Carolina came up and did all that. Anyway, that kind of thing. It's a regular, habitual place for families sometimes. So
Okay.
good on that. That's a good thing to have.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to have a Lazy Dog. Look, I don't bring Ziggy Stardust out with me to restaurants because, well, he's a dick, basically. He's a total dick. But
Yeah.
I like to see other people bring their dogs out, and it's really cool that you can. They always have patios for the dogs. They serve dog food. This is a huge patio. I think this used to be a Miller's Owl House there.
Yeah.
It's over right by Sunset Station. And so huge patio. One part of it has all the outdoor games and stuff like that people love to play at bars. What did I have? Fried deviled eggs, cauliflower ceviche. Actually, better than I thought that would be, cauliflower ceviche. Crispy rice with spicy tuna. It's a classic dish. It's cool. Again, something you don't see at most of these family-friendly restaurants.
Yeah.
2 types of wings, some grilled chicken, some meatloaf, which was wrapped in bacon over spinach and mashed potatoes, crispy onions. Had that the same night that we recorded last week, and I had a meatloaf sandwich. So it was all meatloafed out.
You are meat.
Yeah, there was a burger with prime rib that somebody at my table got. Loco Moco fried rice is another thing they offer, banana pudding, etc. So it's pretty cool. They've got a bunch of beer, a bunch of craft beers. They brew their own beers. They handed me a bunch when I left, so I have them for you, Rich, outside. They also sent me home with some frozen TV dinners.
Whoa.
So they do that if you want takeout.
I do like having some of those on call in the freezer. And
I should have brought you one of those, so maybe
Yeah.
I'll bring you that next week.
All right.
So yeah, keep that in mind. Where else? I was at the Golden Tiki interviewing Chris Jacobs of Beer Zombies. More on that in the news. But after I was at Golden Tiki, I knew I had to go home and eat. So I decided to grab a couple of pizzas to take home to Sue. Big week for pizza for me this week, man. So I did one of their margaritas, and because Sue, when I bring her pizza, she's just like, bring me a fucking margarita pizza, especially if it's, an artisanal kind of pizza. And then their burrata e pesto, which has white sauce, fiore di latte, dorati tomatoes, basil, pistachio pesto, burrata, parmesan frico, parmesan itself, pistachios, beyond the pistachio pesto. Fucking great. I'm like 15-minute drive from there, and it held up pretty well on the ride home, maybe 20 minutes max. So then that I didn't expect it to, but my thought was that 00 pie, even if it didn't hold up, would be better than what I got in my neighborhood, fresh.
Yeah.
So I was cool with that. So loved it. Thank you guys at 00 Pie and Pub. Got a last-minute invitation to Bazaar Meat last Friday, inviting me to dine on Monday, and promising a surprise. Turns out Jose Andres was in town, and a handful of us were invited to say hi to him and eat. So what did I learn while I was there? Because I didn't get Jose to talk on tape or anything. Yeah. He's in the middle of recording a network television series in Toronto. I believe that's with Martha Stewart. And it's going to be, I think, on ABC, a bunch of episodes. So that was cool. He told me a bit about that. Keep your eyes open for that. I was also talking to Sam, who's the CEO of their company, and we were asking where exactly the new the new Bazaar Meat is going to be, because I was at Bazaar Mar. Keep that in mind. That's the seafood place in Crystals. Bazaar Meat is moving. It's going to be moving from Sahara to the Palazzo, for those of you who don't follow this soap opera at home every day as closely as I do. So I was asking Sam, the CEO, I'm like, well, where's it going to be? And they kept saying it would be right up front facing the strip. And I'm like, I don't really understand where that's going to be, because you've got Wakuta and you've got Lavo over there, but it's actually downstairs.
The old Legacy Sports Bar?
It's not, because apparently I don't think anybody wants that fucking space because the way that it tilts down.
Yeah.
They're building them out a new space. They're also building them out, I think. And any of my friends at the Venetian want to call and yell at me, I will apologize. I'll correct anything that I'm saying that's wrong. This is gossip that was picked up over a meal.
Yeah.
But like they said, if you're standing outside Wakuta, there'll be this kind of winding staircase, and you'll actually be able to see Bazaar Meat downstairs. So they're really expanding out. I don't know what they're going to do with that giant fucking statue that's there. I've got no clue. But
sounds like it's the same level as that still empty space.
Yes, same level as Legacy's old stadium, but not in that space. What else did I have to talk about?
What did you eat there?
What did I eat there? Yeah, apparently I went all crazy with this. What was I doing? What page am I on?
That one.
I'm on the one that says this. Okay, so look, what did I eat there? I had some salmon cones. Yeah, I'm just going to take
read it off.
I don't know where this is.
Come on.
Okay, so we did the salmon cones. You know Jose does sea urchin cones and uni cones and all that. Little tiny baby miniature ice cream cones packed with salmon. We had some oysters with those little teardrop peppers on it. Were really, really good. These Thai ama ebi cups with the sweet shrimp in these cups with a lot of traditional Thai type seasonings. Had a Jose's taco, which is nori, Iberico ham, and caviar.
Oh, man.
A scallop ceviche, which I've had before over there. Some kind of monkfish fried in lettuce wraps with some sort of foam. We did a tomato salad, po' boys with little baby squid on them.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, they didn't taste like a fine dining seafood restaurant. They tasted like something you'd eat at sort of a pier, right on a dock, very that kind of seafoody, that rich, deep. So I absolutely loved that, especially for a po' boy format, little mini po' boys. We did lobster croquetas, couple whole fish, a whole bronzino, a whole dorade, a whole fried red snapper, mushrooms that looked like a fucking sea anemone, which were unbelievable, a key lime pie deconstructed and reconstructed into a sandcastle with foam, like a beach foam. So you scrape the waves up and you get the crust that they made the sandcastle out of, right? The graham cracker crust. Yeah, you want that, people. Don't even roll your eyes. You want this fucking dish. And a chocolate souffle. Dinner at Bourbon Steak last night. I don't even remember what I had, and I don't think I put down the notes, but let's see. I got my pictures here, so we're going to run this really, 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 really quickly. And also, I did something short with, no, I'll tell you about that. But what did I eat? Okay, so dinner at Bourbon Steak last night. Did the caviar Twinkie, which I've told you guys about a million times. Had a nice seafood tower, which wasn't done tower-wise, but a very good seafood collection. Did, of course, the trio of duck fat fries. Had a little bit of ahi tuna mixed tartare mixed tableside for us. I'm not even going to tell you about those, Robert. Without the description, I'm not even going to tell you about those like raviolis that I had. We also did a spinach souffle, which was really awesome, man. And they pour some cream in it tableside, and then it almost becomes like cream spinach as a side dish.
That sounds great.
Really, really fucking fantastic. You want to try that? Scrolling through, what else did I have? Did some scallops wrapped in bacon that were excellent. Fantastic rib cap. That was such a great cut of meat, and it was a lot more rare than Sue would normally order it, but because of the cut and it was so good, that rib cap has sort of a texture that's a little rougher than, say, a filet, but it's almost as tender, right? But it's from near the bone, but it's just a beautiful tender cut, right? So great. We loved that. It's really a middle ground between like the pussy filet mignons that I always order and the New York strip that Sue always orders. So that was really great. You want to see what Josh is doing with his mac and cheese over there. You'll remember it is very similar to what you had at Bardot Brasserie. And then for dessert, we had, I guess, a banana tartane. He starts off with a little slice of French toast and then these slices of bananas over it. And you'll see then they scoop a little bit. I got video I'm showing Rich right now. Scoop a little ice cream on there and then they pour some hot caramel sauce on it. And it's just fucking awesome, man. So look, you guys know I'm a sucker for a Michael Mina restaurant. I always like a Michael Mina restaurant, but this is great. We all know Josh Smith is an absolutely fantastic chef. And actually, next week we are going to the food here is just fucking great. The food is just I had an amazing time. I love the room. Yeah. It's sexy. It's off the Four Seasons, which, is not near a casino, so it's kind of tucked away.
Yeah.
Here's the cool thing, and you'll hear this in next week's interview, but free valet parking at the Four Seasons, they validate. They validate at the steakhouse. Yeah. So nobody else does that shit in Vegas. So you come in the side entrance, you valet park, the restaurant is right there. You don't have to pay for the valet parking. So lots of great reasons to go try Bourbon Steak. I've got a long interview next week that I'm going to play for you with Josh Smith, the new chef over there, brand new executive chef. For now, here's just the tease. Here's Josh telling me how happy he is to be back with the Mina Group after some time at Delilah and some other places.
I'm really excited to be here. The staff's excited to have me. They've all made me feel very welcome. And just classic Mina Group, the vibe of hospitality even from the front of the house is just a lot different. Whenever I leave Mina Group, I always find that, the grass isn't greener, and I get somewhere and find that the culture is not the same, that there's this really serious culture here.
I also dropped by Amaya, the new Mexican place in the Cosmopolitan, to speak to Click Hospitality chef Jason McLeod. Here's a bit of that conversation, beginning with the chef telling me what to expect at Amaya.
It's modern, I would go with, playing on some Tulum vibes. But we really focus on, from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave. So the food, the design, the experience, the entertainment. And, we take a lot of traditional flavors and we incorporate that into some modern type dishes. I wouldn't say we're traditional Mexican by any means, and I think that would not work if I said that. Yeah. So we like the flavors of Mexico, and we kind of add them into dishes and kind of make plays on those dishes.
So what would some signature dishes be here?
I think some of our signature dishes would be our lobster tacos. I love them. They're kind of a build-your-own taco, so we make this beautiful lobster, ragu, for lack of a better word, and then we serve it with the tortillas, and you kind of build your own lobster tacos. Love that dish, super popular. The branzino is super popular that we do. We've got a little bit of chilies on there, served whole, boneless. The short rib, the braised short rib, we serve it on the bone. Serve with some nice corn puree, some charred corn. People love that. Another signature dish. I think our ceviche, sea bass ceviche, again, served with some charred corn, a little bit of tomato in there, and kind of like a spicy yellow pepper sauce that goes with that.
Could you describe what the vibe is inside here?
We're on the second floor where a lot of the restaurants are on the third floor, the other full service restaurants. But we like being the odd one out here. I think the location is absolutely fantastic. Can't get a better location. And our vibe is, I think it's that Tulum-y, you feel like you're going to a beach town. We want people to kind of go away for a couple hours, I know they're on vacation a lot of times when they're eating at the Cosmo, but we want them to go another place again once they're at the Cosmo. And I think that's what we do. We got the music playing, we have DJs some nights, we have the fire dancers that come out on the weekends. So we really want that kind of, fun Latin kind of feel to the restaurant. I think they did a great job doing that with the design and the entertainment.
So you are the corporate chef for Click Hospitality, a huge operator here in Las Vegas. Click is known as a party company, right? Yeah, everything they open night spaces, they open speakeasies, they open restaurants, but it's always about a party vibe. Now, I know that you have worked for example, the Four Seasons. You've done the high scale elegance, right? So is this a drastic change of pace for you? And how do you feel about really embracing that kind of club meets restaurant deal?
Yeah, it's completely different than anything I've done in my past. I'm coming up on 3 years in May. I started with Click when we got ready to do the Proper Eats Food Hall. It's completely different, and it took me a little bit to kind of get used to it, because it's a different crowd, I think, that we feed, and I think again, it's the entire experience, that we're trying to achieve, and I think it's difficult, to achieve those in those environments. But I think Click does it obviously very well, and they've had great success over the years. So it took me a while to get used to it, but I love it now. I love the feel of it. I love talking to people about their experience.
Oh, wait, I have some more things. Yeah, that I forgot.
Come on.
God, what the hell? Where the hell did I go with my damn notes? We did
Don't look at me.
this.
You've totally ruined mine.
Yeah, I've totally ruined everybody's scripts. Okay, take us out of here, and I'll let you know if there's other stuff that I need to tell you about on the back end where we got the news.
Yeah. Coming up in that very same news, you'll hear from Beer Zombies' Chris Jacobs, Aroma Latin American Cucina's Steve Kessler, and Bourbon Steak's new executive chef, the aforementioned Josh Smith. But first, we'll be joined by Tamba General Manager Oliver Morowati, sitting down with us momentarily. This is Food and Loathing.
And as promised, we are joined in this segment by Oliver Morowati, who is the general manager here at Tamba in Town Square. And man, he does not come empty-handed. There's some gorgeous food. I feel like I should be taking pictures of this before I dig into it. Rich, get some pictures of that, or I'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing my glasses that I could just take pictures straight from my glasses. I love that. Oliver, man, thank you for having us in here. I'm so excited to be here. I tried to wander into this place quietly the other night just to sort of check it out before I had to tell anybody whether I liked it or not. And I was blown away by what you guys did for me. Thank you so much for that meal, man.
My pleasure. It was really nice to have you come in. Low profile, walking in. I spotted you.
Yeah, no, it's hard, man. I'm not
difficult.
exactly
It's the hair.
incognito.
It's the hair. But yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you again.
Thank you. So tell me what you brought out for us here, as we're going to be digging into this, and we'll be commenting on it as we go through this interview. But let's just get us started. You've got the notes on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so what are we looking at?
So essentially, we put out some amuse-bouche, some canapés, and it was a hit. So we put them on the next menu rollout, which are going to be the shigoku oysters. They're going to be grilled with the kimchi butter, topped with smoked sea salt, and then garnished with a charred lime.
Okay, I'm handing one of these to Rich. I'm off mic
It's more like a
'cause
little soup thing here. I got to make sure I'm not whack it off here.
we need a little squirt.
A little squirt, yep.
Oh,
Thank you.
all right.
I know. We're all off mic. I'm trying to get a little
Lime
squirt of lime juice.
All right.
Got my oyster.
I'll
What
go.
kind of oyster we got? Do you know what kind
Shigoku
of
oysters
Shigoku?
from the
Okay, cool.
Pacific Northwest.
And so all of this is, it's almost like a very strong liquid in here that you got to slurp down, and that's the way I like to
Then
eat
there's
my
an oyster
oysters.
in there. I was afraid the stuff was going to overpower the oyster,
No.
and it did in the first moment, and then the oyster just sort of says, hey, I'm here. Don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Delicious.
Taste of home.
It has kick to it, from all of the seasoning on it.
Yeah.
But not to overpower the oyster. You get that beautiful brininess, that taste of
On
the
the
ocean
finish,
that you want
absolutely.
from
You're
an
going to hand me
oyster.
that napkin there, Al.
On the tail end, yes.
You'll need one for
so
yourself,
these are
too.
fancy napkins, too.
Yeah. Well, you've got a T-shirt. You're fine.
I just use my T-shirt. I don't want to mess up their pretty napkins. Okay, so that's cool. Now, we're not going to eat each and every one. Well, yeah.
Yes,
tell
we
us-
are.
tell me
One
what-
bite,
No, I meant
anyway.
during the intro. I figured we'd chow down. But yeah, let's do one. Tell us each of these.
Absolutely. So here we have the hamachi, which is with the tamarind, ponzu, Asian pear, serrano curry emulsion, micro cilantro, and it's just made with love. So basically, we married the tamarind chutney with our homemade ponzu, and we came up with a tamarind ponzu with the curry emulsion that ties back into the Indian notes, but leaves it with a little Japanese culture as well.
Okay, and so, yeah, would you describe this sort of as a sashimi or as a crudo almost?
It's a crudo, sashimi. I mean, same, but
but just with these
a little bit
these
more flavor
Indian
packed.
and Japanese flavors over
Absolutely.
top of it. Okay,
It's a
got my
cold dish.
chopsticks.
Also, I have a little learning curve on these chopsticks that are square as they taper down,
Yeah.
as opposed to round.
More of a Korean, actually, chopstick design.
It's only going to take one bite. I lied. I'm taking another one.
Oh man, well, what's so fun about this is that it's almost ping ponging off my palate. Japanese over here, then here we got Indian. Then no, don't forget about our Japanese flavors over here. You know, don't forget the Indian
Texture,
flavors,
flavors.
textures,
everything.
everything.
A little crunchy thing in there. Was that the pepper or something else?
It's a jalapeno and
Garlic.
crispy
Crisp
garlic.
garlic,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, one more that you brought out for us, and then we'll get the backstory on this amazing
Absolutely.
restaurant.
So we sear off ahi tuna with the Indian curries to give it that nice flavor-packed Indian note on the exterior. So it's a spiced seared tuna with Asian pear, serranos. It has a rose apple, green apple, wasabi, granada over the top. A little truffle oil and micro. Basically, it gives you just a pack punch, ice cold, that plays fun on the tuna.
Yeah, the tuna is sort of the floor of the thing.
Yes, there's all this
go
stuff
down a
on
little
top
bit
of the
here,
tuna.
grab the
so gotta
tuna.
make sure we get everything.
Well, a little bit of
And make sure you get some of the granada on top.
that's next, yes.
I mean, yeah, then there's a lot of it there, which
Oh,
is
it's
excellent. And, yeah, my
soft.
our chopstick skills are eluding me today, but
That is different.
oh my god,
Refreshing, bright.
Exactly.
yeah, and then
Neat.
the chill is nice on it from
Yeah.
Tante. No, that's really, really excellent as well. Like the first two, I like better. I think we went. I think I would go with the hamachi first, and then
Yep.
the oysters, and then this one. But that's you got to put something in order. That's
Absolutely.
all. Nothing wrong with this one at
Absolutely.
all.
Yeah, I'm going with tuna as number 2 here.
Having
Get
the
some of the tuna
tuna.
with the thing, not after
Exactly.
Yeah.
the other thing.
Okay. So
trying
as
not to-
we continue to eat this delicious food, Oliver, again, we introduced you. Thank you for having us here. People may know you most recently from Delilah. I know
Correct.
you were at Eiffel Tower for a little while,
Absolutely,
if I'm remembering
yeah,
correctly.
yeah.
I guess let's start with how did a guy like you with so much strip experience, high-end strip experience, end up in Town Square?
So Sonny and the team, we've known each other for several years. I've known about the project for about 4 years. I walked the space. I saw the vision. It was not completed yet. And we had very much the same thinking process of what we can accomplish in Town Square with a really new revitalization of Town Square, Guest House being a part of that. And just he wanted a steps of service and a level that was not seen. He brought me into the picture. And voila, we are here now. And I love being a part of this team. There's a lot of things we're working on, but this is the first stepping stone of many new projects.
I love it because it is so unique, but at the same time as being unique, it's executed on a level of a fine dining strip restaurant. And I don't toss that term around loosely
Lightly.
because people in this town know what execution is, and
Right.
you guys are fucking executing.
I appreciate
And
it.
I was not expecting that level of execution at Town Square. I was not expecting that level of execution on a weird fusion concept,
Indian
right?
concept,
yeah,
right?
like,
I agree with you.
So,
And that's, I mean, even the details. That's everything is in the details, from our plateware, glassware, flatware, our wine selections, sake selections, champagne selections, our spirit selections. We have more spirits on our back bar than a lot of restaurants on the Strip even have.
Yeah.
Which begs the question: is this place too hip for the room or too hip for the town square?
I don't see it like that because we're getting a lot of the guests coming from the Strip. They're taking their taxis, their limos, whatever, from the hotels.
Yeah.
A lot of the guests from the Wynn are coming here. All my relations I've made from Eiffel Tower are coming here.
Right.
So it's really beautiful. And all the chefs, a lot of them have come in already.
Yeah, there's definitely a buzz about this place. There's a huge buzz about this place. You know what I found out when I got to meet Sonny, the owner, when I was in here, because of course I'm not incognito, so
Not at
everybody
all.
came to say hi. He told me about his family being in Indian restaurants and about the original Tamba. I was not familiar with the story, but a lot of people, and I feel like a dick that I wasn't familiar with the story. I'm supposed to be some kind of expert on food in this town or something. But a lot of my friends, when I say Tamba, they're like, is that like that old Tamba that used to be on the Strip? So could you give the backstory
Sure.
there?
So the parents opened a restaurant called Tamba.
This is Sonny's parents.
Sonny's parents, pardon.
Okay.
It was on in the Hawaiian Market Center on the second floor behind the escalators to the back. They were doing really gangbuster numbers, but it was more of a curry house, buffet style Indian restaurant. They closed at COVID. The children, Vic and Sunny, wanted to reinvent Tamba into a 2.0 aspect. And they wanted this culture and cuisine to be shining into a nouveau approach of Indian. Because the younger generation of Indians, the transfer of wealth from their parents to them, there was a different culture in food and drinks. So the younger generation are now coming in. They want something new, hip, hot, different, with a little bit of the Indian culture as well. So that's what we're providing. And, we're noticing that it's accepted on a lot of different levels now.
Yeah. So Sonny was born into a restaurant family,
Correct.
as I understand it. Then kind of went off and made his own fortune doing his own things.
Correct.
And decided he wanted to come back into the food world. Am I
Correct.
getting that right?
That is 100% the case. I was also born into restaurants.
Yes.
My parents had 5 restaurants in Los Angeles. I was working in kitchens my whole life. And it's been a passion of mine from day one.
Cool.
So allowing us to come in as a team of children that grew up in kitchens together and restaurants and building this team from back of the house, front of the house, and our bar program, we're shooting for excellence from the moment we walked in.
Well, let's talk about your chef, Anand Singh, because, seriously, I wish I was one of the people on the James Beard Award board here. I don't know who is. If any of you are listening to this, come in here. It should be you should be nominating this fucking place. But he's such an original chef, and I don't want to try to retell the backstory that you told me about him, but as I understand it, he started off in India, then the Caribbean, learning to work with other things.
He basically at 19 got picked up by the Four Seasons to go to the Maldives, Seychelles, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and then got picked up by Hilton Group, and then basically went to Las Ventanas, which is a Rosewood property, and the restaurant was named Arbol, which he worked for about 9 years. They just received their 1-star Michelin under his ruling. And then Sonny had met him about 6-7 years ago at Arbol. Had dinner and was like, whoa, there's a lot of Indian notes here. I got to meet the chef. Chef came out, 6 years of basically courting him to come to the U.S. And voila, 6.5, 7 years later, he's now our executive chef. And he's doing a bang-up job. Everything he's doing is phenomenal. It's completely different. But he still brings that Indian culture and cuisine with it.
And you have some hot local chefs, the people that have been around the block that are supporting him here, right?
Oh, yeah. Chef Sung Park. He was a lot of sushi restaurants. He was last stint was over at Sakura as the executive chef, as well as Kumi with Akira Black. We have some really top talented people in the back, and he was out of the game for a while. He came, walked the kitchen, and said, I want to be a part of this kitchen because it was so designed in a fashion that he's never seen before with so many wonderful cooking methods. So he can play. It's a playground back there.
Yeah, so you do the sushi-esque section, whether you want to compare it to crudo or, whatever, tiradito. There's, whatever, the raw fish section.
But it comes from Chef Anand being island locked for so many years, where he didn't have a choice but to use fresh fish and add his twist of India on top of it.
And then, okay, so beyond Indian, though, I mean, you've got a wok station back there. You
Correct.
do some traditional Chinese dishes,
Yeah,
right?
Indo, basically Hakka region.
And you touch on Thai. There's Thai flavors over this thing.
We use Thai basil. But yeah, there is definitely, I would say, east, west, north, south of anything in that area. There's even, I would say, Persian influence. There's Indo-Pakistani style. There's obviously Indian, Japanese. We have the fried rice, the Chinese, right? Like there's a little bit of everything for everyone.
And you got different. That's what kind of I thought was cool. You do the quote Chinese. I'm doing the air quotes thing here. The quote Chinese fried rice, which I had, it's fucking phenomenal. But a lot of Indian flavors in that one. But then you also do a biryani, which if you want just a straight on
up
Indian rice, right?
Absolutely. Has the Indian kick, has everything India about it, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about the place is beautiful. We mentioned this. I am not an interior design guy, but you were talking about having some of these stone features or cement features kind of 3D printed.
3D printed walls, yeah. So Sonny designed it, and basically he picked 5 materials, stuck with the same 5 materials throughout the entire space. So we have the white granite, we have the white oak from Japan on all the walls, we have the printed concrete, terrazzo floors, and brass. Tamba means brass, therefore, if you look at the baseboards, the light fixtures, they're all solid brass.
Cool. I'm going to suck down this final oyster. Sorry, guys. Rich, ask
Yeah.
a question.
The word when I walked in that came to mind immediately was plush. This could be a classic, not a classic, but a modern steakhouse.
It could be on the Strip. It could be in New York. When
Yeah.
you shut those doors right behind you, you could be anywhere around the world at this point. Anywhere high-end or fine dining. Right?
Yeah.
What's the price point in here?
I'd say 50 to 125 a head. I mean, really, you can play depending on the wines and sakes, but just food-wise, I'd say $60, $70 a person.
Is the format still what we're all comfortable with when it comes to an Indian place or any Asian place, quasi-family style?
We love the family-style portions because portion sizes, things of that nature, it's really nice to be able to get all the flavor profiles and try a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So we really push the family style. Breaking bread with one another is one of our things. We want people to pass the plate, pass to the left-hand side, really enjoy what's going on the table.
Cool, man. This food's so fucking
Oh, yeah,
good.
yeah.
I'm having so
Less
much fun
talking, more
eating
eating.
it. Yeah, no, man, look, I really want to thank you for having us in. It's
Absolutely.
been phenomenal. We're having a great time here. And seriously, people, anybody that listens to this podcast all the time knows that I don't rave this much about a restaurant very frequently. I mean, I am a little bit of a kiss ass, and I try not to trash places. I'm just not at that trashing phase of my career anymore. I'll be the first to say that I'm a little on the cheerleader side of my old man part of the career, but I never, ever rave about a place as much. This is, to me, most exciting restaurant discovery in a year for me personally.
It's wonderful to hear. Honestly, I've heard a lot of wonderful things about us, and I really give it to Chef and the team, our staff. We've really hand-selected all of our staff members.
You got a great wine program too, right?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah. Okay, excellent, man. Well, that was fantastic. I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you. We're going to chow down on more of this food.
get in there.
The news is next. This is Food and Loathing. By now you know about Neon Feast, the app that serves up Las Vegas restaurant recommendations, not from self-appointed influencers hustling for free meals or flame from disgruntled diners. Neon Feast gives you suggestions based on our conversations with Vegas restaurant pros, the chefs, managers, owners, writers, bloggers, and others who make this industry great. What kind of food do you want? What part of the valley? How much to spend? What's the occasion? Ask Neon Feast and get the answers. Also check for restaurant news and in-depth features at Neon News. We have you covered with the Neon Feast app and neonfeast.com. And for restaurant news you can use, neonnews.vegas. Time for the news, and I am going to kick it off this week. I attended the opening of the latest outlet of the Broken Yolk, the San Diego-based breakfast and lunch joint. Outlet number 5 is in the building that used to house that IHOP on West Sahara at Fort Apache. Before the ribbon cutting, I chatted with the chain's marketing director, Adam Lister. Broken Yolk, it's breakfast, it's lunch, it is nothing really unfamiliar, but the idea is to do it well.
Well, yeah, we do differentiate ourselves from some of the competitors in a couple different ways. One is we offer a full bar. So not just mimosas and Bloody Marys, but also any other kind of cocktails you would like. And the other thing that really sets us apart is we are a true from-scratch kitchen. All of our sauces are made here in-house. Nothing's pre-bought, pre-made. It's made from fresh vegetables and ingredients, and that's a big difference.
In-house as in this house for this place?
Correct.
There's not a central kitchen in the valley?
Correct, not a commissary. It's made inside the 4 walls of each building every day.
So what do you like on the menu?
My go-to is the Fiesta burrito. So we take shredded beef, we get some scrambled eggs, some tomatoes, some onions, some bell pepper, some American cheese, wrap it up in a burrito, covered in salsa verde, covered in sour cream, pico de gallo, and some avocado on top. Can't go wrong with that.
As one who is infamous on this podcast for ordering nothing more than bacon and eggs over medium, that's like the bedrock. You do that, and then we can talk about the other stuff. I just never get around to talking about the other stuff, but that does sound tempting.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to get the staples, right? If you're called the Broken Yolk, you better be able to make some eggs and make them right.
Speaking of eggs, how you dealing with supplies and cost?
Yeah, so it's a very common question I'm getting these days. We are not going to be doing surcharge pricing on the eggs like some other concepts have done. We're not going to be passing the cost on the consumers with a percentage increase in credit cards or any of those things. We're just figuring out with our vendors and our partners, not alienate our customer base and to continue to provide value.
Adam also told me that they are already about to start work on number 6, which will be up in the Centennial area. open maybe the end of the year.
Cool. Good for them,
that.
man. Yeah, I'm not a breakfast guy, but
Yep.
they're the ones that are in Broken Yolk, right? They're the ones that are in downtown as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, in that great old post office building. I've had a few breakfasts there. Like it a lot.
March 1 marked Power Soul Cafe's 1-year anniversary in Las Vegas. In that year, the healthy and gluten-free fast food and smoothie joint has opened 3 local outposts. You can get everything from frozen pizzas to vegan cookies to pumpkin dog treats. And to celebrate, they're teaming up with the Nevada ASPCA. Every time you buy a 13-ounce bag of dog treats, which are known as Gronk's Power Paws, $2 goes to the ASPCA. Promotion's on now, set to run indefinitely, so go get your doggy food. And if you're looking to do something on the Strip this coming Wednesday, March 12th, our friends at Brezza have invited Sazerac's master blender Drew Mayville to collaborate on 4-pairing...
Four-course pairing dinner.
Four-course
Sorry,
pairing dinner.
My notes, they suck.
But you got Chef Nicole Brisson's name right. So we sat down with Brezza's beverage director, Wayne Herman, told us a little bit about it.
Drew Mayville is one of the few master blenders in the world, so we took ourselves, thought this was a great opportunity to kind of put on this beautiful dinner. So, chef has curated a 4-course menu, some very unique items that we don't have on our regular menu at any one point in time, and we pair it with some very unique Sazerac bourbons that aren't available in every market all the time.
And we also asked him about the process of pairing bourbons with Italian cuisine.
Just pairing them together is kind of a process. High proof, we want some bigger flavors, so big bourbons, big steak. Generally, it's kind of how it works. And then we do find that a lot of the other bourbons have these nuanced undertones of like fruit and earth and leather, and these match up with so many other dishes as well. And it's basically how my mind is working with that.
Tickets for this one, $225 per person plus tax and tip.
And the Golden Tiki has a new shrunken head.
Oh.
Actually, I was toying with different headlines or different teases, and I was going to say
Yeah.
Beer Zombies' Chris Jacobs celebrated his birthday by getting a little head.
It's new head, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
We've all
Beer
been
Zombies founder Chris Jacobs celebrating his birthday at the Spring Mountain Road Bar, Golden Tiki. It's a landmark. You know they've got all those miniaturized noggins from, I don't want to use the term celebrity too freely because they include me there. So and I'm certainly, that word should not be used to describe me ever. But, you know, it's pretty damn cool. To me, it's one of probably the highest honor I'll ever have. And I'm always excited when somebody else goes out, somebody else cool gets one of those. So I went over and I spoke to Chris a few minutes prior to the ceremony. What are your thoughts on being honored in this way and joining some of the other really cool people who are in there?
It's not, I mean, it's everybody. It's you walk through these hallways, I drink here, I hang out here, and you see it, and every time you walk by, you're like, oh, that's awesome, you know? And it's always people that you kind of look up to, local celebrities, people in the music industry. So honestly, it's a huge honor. It's something that makes me feel really proud to be. I've been in Vegas for 30 years. You know, I feel like a local. It's something that kind of puts a stamp on Beer Zombies as a brand and a brewery that has really kind of integrated into the community.
Beer Zombies has taken quite a journey, and it's been fun to watch from the outside. I mean, really from something that started as illustrations and then to events and then to co-sponsoring beers and then to brewing your own beer. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot of steps in between. But take me through how you've made that journey, and were you ever expecting it to go this far?
Never in a million years. It was literally a Instagram page that I was using as an outlet to show art and beer. You know, while I was bartending and being an industry person myself, I worked at Cosmo. We opened it up. I was there until 2018, and it was just a side thing. It was one of those, I love beer, and it was just something fun for me to do. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it started off as t-shirts and graphic design and art and beer labels and events, and it kind of just kept going organically. There was never a business plan. There was never, hey, I'm going to wake up and make this a business. It just, whatever felt right when I woke up is what I did. And that kind of guided me into where I'm at now. And yeah, I mean, we're sending beer out to 42 states and 20 countries. We're working on being one of the larger breweries in Nevada right now.
We told you last week about the collaborative dinner that Aroma Latin American Cachina Steve Kessler is planning with Garage East Wine Bar's Eric Prato. That's Monday, March 10th at Garage East in the Arts District. Well, last we checked, there were still a few tickets available. Help you decide if you want to snatch up one of those. Well, I went out and I sat down with Kessler to talk about the dinner.
We're doing this collaboration with Eric. It's going to be a tasting menu, 4 courses, and it's a celebration of being both of us finalists for the James Beard Foundation. Also a celebration of being friends from a long time ago. We used to work together at Bouchon like 10 years ago. So, it's going to be really nice, really good. All of the dishes that we're going to cook are not on the Aromas menu. So it's definitely like completely new food that you might see later on the new menu at Aroma. And of course, he's very knowledgeable on wine, so he handpicked really good pairing for the food.
Tickets, by the way, are $129 plus tax and tip. Michelin-starred chef, or Steph, Sean Hergat is in Las Vegas this week, checking in on his restaurant Aqua in Resorts World, formerly Caviar Bar. You may recall that. I bumped into him as I was leaving my interview at Brezza, and we set up a short meeting to talk about what's new. Here's what he told me.
What's new is I think that the future is new. Obviously we always like to develop new programs, and that's why I come here so often, is because we are building the restaurant into a bigger, better, sort of experience. Not going to speak too much about it, but there will be a renovation in the future, which I'm very excited about. So we're going to upgrade the design and make sure that we have something that is almost like a 0.3 in design. So, first you started out with a small caviar bar, and then we extended it to a restaurant. Now we're just going to do something on another level. So this is the third progression to offer our clients something even better.
Is that going to be in the same location?
Same location for the moment, yep.
Okay, cool. But a physical redesign of the space?
Not 100%. It's just an add-on to make sure that we really sort of... I just really think it's one of those things that's kind of like we're putting a lot of effort into this, and we want to make sure it's the best of the best. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to do to make sure the experience is very exciting.
Okay, so what's the timeline that people should be keeping their eyes on this space during?
I'll let you know the timeline.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chef. I know you redesigned the seasonal menu, several times a year. Could you tell me what's fresh, new, and exciting on the menu right now?
Yeah, I think, from my perspective, we have a couple new fish dishes, the snapper. Obviously we're coming out of winter, so all the veggies and all that sort of stuff will be changing very soon for spring. I always dream about food, especially in seasonality, and green is the theme, and I think that's what we're going to be focusing on a lot more. Peas and fava beans and asparagus and all those beautiful vegetable leaves and all that sort of stuff, which will be coming on the menu very soon. Some of it's available, but it's not right in peak season yet, so I'm right on the edge. We're starting to test, but yeah, look out for green.
What is the best way to come in and enjoy Aqua?
The beautiful thing about Aqua is that you can always devise according to what you would like. So if you're a couple and you wanted to come in for a quick meal and it's an hour and a half where you can have an appetizer, main course, or dessert, that's great. If you do want a tasting menu, then we're more than happy to do a 12-course tasting menu. But the thing about Vegas is people don't have a lot of time because they want to go to the show, they want to do this, they want to do that. You'll get the odd person coming in to say, listen, let's have a lifetime experience, so we do that. But what we've found recently is that the way that the menu is, people are now enjoying the caviar as a preamble with the champagne or with the cocktail, and then after that they're ordering 3 or 4 courses anyway because they're interested in what they want to try and experience. Most of the time I would say it would be sharing. When the guys come in and it's a group of men, generally they don't like to share, but when it comes to families or women, they love to have everything out and they taste 6 or 7 different varietals of what we are offering on the menu. And I love that because it's a very social thing.
And this, you want to talk about pairing dinners. How about this? Weed and brisket burritos. I mean, that's a great pairing, isn't it? Chefs Susan Feniger and Mary Sue Milliken know they are not in the weed business, but they're taking their Mexican barbecue concept, Barbecue Mexicana, to the streets of Las Vegas this month, including regular appearances at Wallflower Dispensary on Blue Diamond Road.
Lordy.
You can find them there every Tuesday and Wednesday in March from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. The truck will also make an appearance today, March 7th at First Friday. I will tell you, as a guy who likes my marijuana and who also likes my Barbecue Mexicana, I know they go well well together. So you
It's-
guys should do that.
It's going to be an Uber day for you, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I've got a barbecue Mexicana closer to home. So
Okay.
normally I pick it up at the drive-thru, go home, get high then. So that's my
Responsible
way of doing it.
guy that you are.
Yeah, well, by this point in life, you got to be.
Yeah,
You
no
can't,
kidding.
can't go against the odds that long. Another pop-up set for tonight as this podcast drops Friday, March 7th. It is at Gu Plus Social, which is the upscale back room at Chinatown's Gu Plus Sando shop there on Spring Mountain Road. They are going to be offering the cuisine of the online ghost kitchen Italio. It's a 5-course, $98 menu that's going to include beet salad, pan-seared scallops, braised short ribs, and an asado plate of steak, chorizo, shrimp, bone marrow, and chimichurri rice. And then for dessert, you get some mango panna cotta. So there's another one
Yeah.
for you. That's today as we drop this thing. Bramare will host a cocktail competition. I'm not judging this one. I've been asked to judge a lot recently, but not this one. This Sunday, March 9th. I love these competitions, especially if you drink, but even if not, to get in touch, watch all the local bartenders get together, compete with each other, bust each other's balls. It's always such a fun experience. They all bring teams out from their own bars. So, it's really a great way to get together with the entire community, any of these mixology competitions. So Sunday, March 9th, Opera Mare, doors open at 8 p.m. Competition starts at 9. You're going to have mixologists from Partage, Esther's Kitchen, Pinky Ring, Legacy Club, Circa, Cleaver, Stray Pirate, Asteria Fiorella. At that point, the screenshot that I took clipped off, so I don't know who else is there. Lots of other fucking people.
Yeah.
Judges are fantastic for this one. We've got the one and only Francesco Lafranconi, who of course now is with Carver Road Hospitality, but he's been all over the place. He's unreal. Adam O'Donnell of Jive Turkey, who is a very accomplished mixologist in his own right. And coming back to Las Vegas, one of my old mentors and compatriots and whatever else we can say we were, Hanya Woodman is back in town to judge this thing. So if you are an old school Vegas person that you used to go to bars and nightclubs, you wouldn't have been going to them without reading her columns in the Weekly or this Vegas 7 or whatever she was writing at that time. Sorry, Hanya, if I'm forgetting exactly where you wrote when. Okay, so much more to talk about, but yeah, mark your calendars. March 29th, Sparrow and Wolf's Late Night Bar Snack Series returns. Chase Gordon and Anthony Jameson from Sandollar, Gary Lamort from Honest Hospitality and Fortune Events. I'm going to see if I can get one of them on here to talk about this next week, so I'll leave it go at that. I think next week we're going to drop my full interview with Josh Smith. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, no, that's cool. We got that. We're going to do my full interview with Josh Smith. And yeah, I think that's about it for this week.
Talk about enough. Thanks to our hosts here at Tamba and all those guests. There's a lot of them. We got no time for names. You know who you are.
Sean, Adam, Wayne,
Yeah.
Chris, Josh, Steve, Jason, and of course, Oliver. our host.
Yes, and on behalf of Al Mancini, the traveling Samantha Gemini Stevens, I am Rich Johnson, and you know what you need to do. Stay hungry.